After finding out this information during case history taking, Dr. Brewer hypnotized Miss Anna O. And as he hypnotized her, in hypnosis there is a very simple procedure called age regression, taking people back in time. Lately you've been hearing a lot about past life regression. Idea is the same, that you go beyond this birth. But the process is the same. So he hypnotized this lady, Miss Anna O. He told her that you are going back in time. When I count to 3, you'll be right there when your father died that particular night. You'll see everything you saw then, you will heard everything you heard then, and you will feel everything you felt then. You will see everything you saw then, you will hear everything you heard then, you will feel everything you felt then. 1, you are going back in time. 2, you are right there. And 3, tell me what's happening. I'm sitting on a chair, trying to stay awake. My arm is behind my head. My father is lying on that bed. And I hear the whistle of a train. The train is going to come. And it's going to bring the doctor who is going to cure my father. I see the train stopping at the platform. Doctor getting out, coming to my door, ringing the doorbell. I want to open the door and let the doctor in. As I take my arm from behind my head, my arm is frozen and my fingers have become snakes. I cannot get up, I cannot open the door. My father dies. I did not kill him. As she described this episode, Dr. Brewer realized that while she was trying to stay awake, she fell asleep, and in this trance state, half asleep, half awakened state, she imagined that the train was coming, which was to bring the doctor. And she also imagined that she could not open this door. And because of some confusion in her head, she started hallucinating that her fingers had become snakes. And she could not open the door. Her father died. She connected that, not being able to open the door and death of the father, and therefore her being responsible for it. And that will be too much to take, that I'm guilty of my father's death. So she forgot the entire incident and got hysterically paralyzed. So she can say that I could not open the door, and therefore, because I was paralyzed, therefore I am not guilty. So the paralysis was her defense against the guilt of her father's death. When Dr. Brewer explained this entire incident to her, she experienced what is known in psychoanalysis catharsis, cleansing herself, emotional outburst. She cleansed herself of all the emotion, her paralysis disappeared. When Dr. Brewer told about this incident to Dr. Freud, they both worked on cases like that and wrote a book together, Studies in Hysteria. So Freud was the first one to come up with this theory of the mind, unconscious, preconscious, conscious. But his concept of unconscious was that it was a sort of a dustbin for everything that was unpleasant. So later on, new term came into English language called subconscious, which also suggests there is something positive. So let me give you a working definition of your subconscious mind. Your subconscious mind, ladies and gentlemen, is that part of your mind which is awake 24 hours a day. Number 1. 2, it does not analyze or reason. 3, it takes suggestions literally. Everything you tell it, only thing it says is tathastu, tathastu, tathastu. So be it, so be it, so be it. It does not reason. It does not negate anything. Only says yes. Which means all the negative things you tell yourself, also it says yes. And research suggests that our well-meaning parents, particularly in our childhood, tell us 1,48,000 times things negative. If you are lucky, it is 50,000 times. You are not good. You are stupid. Your neighbor's son is better than you are. You are not as smart. You will never make anything in your life. You will be just like your uncle who happens to be an idiot. And everything, day in and day out, we hear right from childhood things like this. Comparison with other people. And this subconscious mind at that time, the child says yes, yes, yes. Any emotional states also put you into hypnotic state. Because basically what it means that your mind power is so concentrated, whatever is told is accepted by saying Tathastu. Few years back I was lecturing in Indian Medical Association in Bangalore. And I was telling the doctors, as I told you earlier, medical colleges do not teach communication because they operate on a premise the doctors do not have to know anything about communication. Either the patient will be under anesthesia or he will be dead. So, as I was lecturing to these medical doctors, I told them that when you take a pulse of a patient, for all practical purposes, for those few seconds, patient is in a hypnotic state. His mind power is fully focused on what you're going to say at the end of the pulse taking. His eyes stop blinking, which is one of the characteristics. He's just looking at you blank-eyed. And at that time, at the end of this, if you do this. And as I was relating to these 100-odd doctors at Bangalore, one of the doctors got up and said, "You are absolutely right, this is what happened in my life." I said, "Tell me what happened." He said, "I had a patient who come to me for insurance purposes, examination, so I had to certify so he can be insured. I checked him out, he was absolutely fine. I said, give the certificate, he's okay. 6 months later, he comes with the reams and reams of paper, the cardiograms. He says, "Sir, I went to 2-3 doctors, I had my cardiogram done. They all say I'm okay, but I don't feel okay." So I asked him, I said, "Why did you go to a cardiologist anyway? I checked you out, you were fine." He said, No, sir. When you took my pulse, you said," and the doctor said, "I remember as I was taking his pulse, my watch stopped." So he said, when the watch stopped, I went, and that person thought that was his heart. So this is what it means, and that is why that stayed with him. We had a case in California when we were teaching these courses. There was a doctor, a surgeon by the name of Rue Bottom. When he heard about this, he went to one of his patients who is to come back to him. She was operated for cancer. Everything was taken out, but she always came back and complained, "Doctor, there is some left." After finding out that the subconscious mind idea, he hypnotized her and took her back to the time of the surgery. And she started talking that when I was under anesthesia, Dr. Rue Bottom was operating on me, and in my half-awakened state, I heard him, "I don't think we can take everything out." So all the doctors in the audience remember this. Patience here, and most of the time it's damaging. So the point is, our subconscious mind takes things literally. Once it takes it literally, you can also say positive things to it, because that it will also take literally. And this is what we don't do. And we have a phenomenal potential. I keep doing this at the age of 67 because there's a beautiful Sanskrit shloka I would like to share with you. Amantram aksharo nasti. There is not a single letter of the alphabet, ladies and gentlemen, out of which you cannot make a mantra. Amantram aksharo nasti, nasti mulam anaushadam. There is not a single root of a tree out of which you cannot make medicine. Disciples of Charakacharya, the great Ayurvedic doctor, went to him once. He said, "Guruji, you have given us this great Ayurveda. It's called the fifth Veda. Out of 4 Vedas, fifth one is Ayurveda. You have given us this knowledge of the Veda, and we want to give you Guru Dakshina. What should we give you?" Charakacharya told his disciples, "Bring me a root of a tree out of which I cannot make medicine." They kept on looking. They brought him all kinds of roots. He made medicines out of it because he knew nasti mulam anaushadam. There is not a single root of a tree out of which cannot make medicine. So amantram aksharo nasti, nasti mulam anaushadam, ayogya purusho nasti. There's not a single person who's incapable. Each one of us is unique in creation. Each one of us has phenomenal potential. People don't know this, and the people who bring them up are the ones who don't know the least about it. I give you a simple example.